Well, hello, everybody, and thank you so much. We're here with our leadership team and our recording this for you. This is training that will help you to more effectively connect with people, obviously our customers, but also in your personal life. That it's an 83-page report that we generated. It's the world's most statistically accurate and valid report. And we're going to use a sample so you can go find, get your assessment. You should have your assessment. You should have also watched the half-hour video on the 4 different behaviors of mankind and the 6 different ways that people are motivated. And it'll be very helpful. It works like magic when you start applying this, not only in the business, at our shops, but also in your personal life. And so we're going to use Jose, and Jose is really Adrian. You know him as Adrian, but his dad was named Jose, and so was he. So they had to call him something different. So they call him Adrian, but his real name is Jose. And so we're going to go through his assessment so you can understand the value of this and what this is sharing with us. So the first thing to do is read a couple of, you can read if you want to, the next 2 pages, but I'm going to just read a little of Adrian's. He's orientated towards achieving practical sales results. He will approach sales in very systematic ways. He tries to build future success on the methods and procedures that have brought sales success in the past. And Adrian, is that a pretty good, accurate description of you? Yeah, you're a superstar, man. And now again, we're going to page down, so just follow me. And again, you can review this at a later time then as well. But on page 8 here is the 6 steps to any sales process, and specifically to our sales process. And it's about prospecting. And so you guys don't have to do too much prospecting, but first impression, you bet you do. And then qualifying. And so qualifying could be qualifying the jewelry they have, could be qualifying, is the person credit worthy, whatever, to, give them a loan, whatever the case be. Demonstration could be, demonstrating, how it works and, how the loan works or whatever. Influencing them. And so that's important to be able to influence the customer and then to close them. And so that's the sales process. And if you're 50% or more on this, you're really strong. That what we've done is we've done a job benchmark as though for an SLA, as though the job could talk. And we found that this qualifying is really the most important, because we want to qualify, is the customer, do we have the knowledge to determine whether or not the customer is credit worthy or whatever, or if the product they're bringing in or wanting to buy, whatever. So we need a lot of knowledge, and we need to make sure that we qualify, again, either the product or the person. And we're going to also run a gap report. That's a separate report that we'll be providing you that will really help you. We literally have a way to help you to be even more successful as an SLA. And so we're really excited about how we're taking the organization and taking you to a new higher level. And it'll be very helpful from here on out for you connecting with people. And again, we're going to kind of go through a lot of this fairly quickly, but it's great information that, like value to the organization, and so this is, how is Adrian valuable? He's accurate. He has initiative. He's concerned about quality work. He brings humor and entertainment to our sales meeting. All right, that's what we like. Has a sense of urgency. So, and again, you can read your own there that there are everybody's a little bit different or a lot different, whatever. What we have found is that all of us in our organization are pretty much the same as far as our behavior style and what motivates us, and I'll get more into that later. Now, here is And for you as a manager to note that, and I would really write down even what pages are critical to share with your team members. So this is for managers, but this is also for you as an individual to maybe take home to, the people you love and say, hey, this is the way I like to be communicated to. So on this page 13, this is the way you like to be communicated with. And like probably you couldn't write a list like this yourself. But because of this amazing diagnostic tool, we're able to capture that information and help you to better understand yourself, and then for others to better understand you as well, and then again for you to better understand the customer. So ways to communicate as a manager, you want to talk this with your employees, if you will, with the SLAs, and ask them, hey, out of this checklist, what do you, which way is best? How do you like best to be communicated to? And what you're doing is, what they're really doing is telling you. So, for example, put projects in writing with deadlines, number two, that if Adrian would say that to, his one-up manager, Desmond, whatever, that, what he'd be telling Desmond, in this example is, hey, could you start putting this stuff in writing and start giving me deadlines on this stuff? And so it's just a more effective way in order to increase the productivity of everyone. The next page is how not to communicate. So here are ways. He doesn't want to be, look at number 10, that Adrian, don't threaten him. That's not a good way to communicate with him. and and don't make statements about his quality of work unless he can prove it. Because by golly, he's a little sensitive about that he takes pride in the way that, he works. And so it's really a cool way to, and again, I share it with your family, I share it with each other, and, the manager with the SLA, and the management team with whoever you're working with more. And there's some really good information. And again, we're going to go through, this is a fun page. These are perceptions. So stress is the #1 killer in the world. And and what it does in the United States, for example, it causes heart disease. Okay, stress does. And so this page here that I'm getting to, under perceptions, that what it does is it shows what things are, how you are behaving when you don't have pressure or when you do have pressure. So for example, with Adrian, that when he's comfortable and isn't under stress, he's precise, thorough, moderate, diplomatic, knowledgeable, analytical. Super guy. Okay. But if he's under stress, and again, I want you to look on your page too, 16, and when you're under extreme pressure, that now he becomes a perfectionist, hard to please, strict, defensive. So whenever you see Adrian that way, just say to yourself, oh, he's stressed out. Okay. And maybe even help him. Hey, it kind of looks like maybe you're stressed out. Yeah, and blame it on Dr. Hank. Remember when Dr. Hank said that you were this way? And so your goal is, for each one of you, is to be where you are at the top there, how you see yourself because it's just great. Whatever those, definitions are of you, that's who you are when you're not under stress. And this will save your life. This will have you have a longer life, if you will, by not getting down there. And I have ways that I can help you to get, stay there and, whatever. But for purposes today, we're not going to get into that. And so again, just kind of going through this, lots of good information and the way he adapts. Now, time wasters. I would also suggest that you meet, if you're the one-up manager, if you will, that this page 23, that it is time wasters are actually, it says 22 on on the technology on the PowerPoint that I have, but the actual numbers, page 23, it's one off for whatever reason. But time wasters, overreacting to constructive criticism. So again, yours will probably be different than this, but you want to go through this and you want to understand yourself, not just go through with your manager, whatever, but you also want to realize that, wow, I sometimes overreact to constructive criticism. And that sometimes, so for example, sometimes Adrian wants to seek all the facts. And then maybe we don't necessarily need all the facts. And that maybe it's a time waster on getting every piece of it. So again, don't take this personal. What you do is you look at, hey, what are the possible causes? And then importantly, what are the possible solutions? And then more time wasters they have, and fear of mistakes, that, hey, we don't want to make a mistake. Possible causes, possible solutions, like practice focusing on past successes. Think about, in the past where you were successful, and think how it happened, and how in the future, you don't have to do it. So it's really good information just to help you, because if you do have, like, for example, fear of mistakes, that will cause you stress. And again, you want to live long. And so at this point, what do you like best about what you are hearing, what you've heard?
Understanding what makes me tick.
Yeah. And it's pretty accurate, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And so it'll help you. And again, this training video that we have for a half hour will also help you to understand how other people tick, and which means we all have a window of communication that we either close or we open, depending on our behaviors and how we're talking to that person. And that video and this information will help you to better understand and better connect with, understand yourself and connect with other people. Areas for improvement. Again, this may be you sit down with your one-up manager or whatever, and you say, hey, out of these things, and by the way, you probably all know this page, you probably know the areas for improvement, and also know that everybody has this page. There isn't like, oh, one person doesn't have any pages, anything to improve. We can all improve. You're probably aware of them, but this is in black and white now. And it's like, wow, this is, really cool for me to see and to take a look at it and identify, hey, what area do I want to do a little bit better at? So all this is just to help us to get better. And, and that way we'll make more money, we'll keep our job, whatever that, all kinds of things will be that we'll be happier, with this, et cetera. And again, we're going to kind of whip through some of this. And this graph is incredible. Now, what this graph is, and this is on page 28. And the right graph is who you really are. And I have helped thousands of people live longer because of this incredible graph. And you won't see this graph anywhere else in the world. It is really amazing. The right graph is who you really are. The left graph is how you modify your behavior style. And we might modify it based on who we're living with, who we're working with, what people have told us in the past how to be. But basically, again, looking at Adrian's, his top one is a C, and C is for conscientious. He likes rules. He likes regulations. He's also a D, which means he's a driver and he likes to control. But he's also, and most people are usually one real high behavior style, one pretty high, and then two not very high. In this case, Adrian can really relate to most of the population because he's a CDI, and the I is influencer. He has a great personality, has a great way to influence people. And would you say that's true, Adrian?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And so now what you want to do is you want to subtract the D from the D, and if it's 10 points or more, it's causing you a lot of stress because you're modifying your behavior. So if you do D to D, that, hey, it's okay. That the S to S is okay, the C to the C, just a few points out. However, he's decreasing his I, in other words, his ability to influence, him talking, more. And do you find that true, Adrian? Can you think of where, you wish you would say something, but you're not going to?
Yeah. Like,
Yeah, yeah. And who is that with?
I don't like to be the loudest person in the room most of the time, even though
Yeah.
I'm the most knowledge. I will let people speak their mind or speak their opinion and see where it goes from there.
Yeah, yeah. And again, that's a good one to be listening effectively to people and wanting to know where they're coming from. But my counsel to you, and again, all of you have a little bit of stress, and I have a recap of everybody and where the stress is. But I encourage all of you to get back to who you really are. And so the right graph. And so to go ahead and bump that up because it is causing you some stress. And can you understand on where, Adrian, it would cause you a little stress?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, cool. And so with that, that is the behaviors. And so just so you know that we primarily for the job benchmark, as far as what is the job calling for, that we are typically looking for people. So, people that join our organization or in our organization, that if they're pretty high C's, okay, it's conscientious. C's are conscientious, compliant. They like data and facts. And the reason why that is when we did the job benchmark, we said knowledge is really important. And sure enough, you guys are successful in this business because of partly because of the way that your behavior style is, that you're more C's. And again, you'll be able to understand that more when you see this video, when you see the video, and then also when we look at the job benchmark. Now, I'm going to go all the way down, and because there's a lot of great information, but the main thing that what this is, and again, when you see this video, you'll better understand it. There's 6 ways that people make decisions. And the top 1 and 2, for each person, they have a top 1 and 2. That's how they make decisions. And the THE means theoretical, liking knowledge. UTI, I'm going to just briefly go through them. UTI is utilitarian. It means you'll make a decision based on the return on investment. Aesthetic is more form and harmony and kind of getting into the moment, if you will. Social is helping other people. Now let's look at this. You may say, well, Adrian mustn't like people or want to help people. He's real low on social. That's not what this is saying. He loves people. He wants to help people. But when he is making a decision, he's going to base it on 2 factors. The knowledge, can I gain knowledge, on that, is there knowledge, information? And then his second one is IND, which means individualistic. He likes to be number 1. And because of that, that's one of the reasons why he's the top manager in the company. This is, hey, he wanted this, and he wanted knowledge. He loves knowledge. And remember the job for the SLA, and which we're all kind of SLAs and play that role to some capacity, that it's knowledge. Well, that's what theoretical is. And guess what? All of you are pretty high in theoretical. So all of you have the behavior style and the motivation in order to be successful. And again, we have a recap on everybody on this, but that's the main takeaway from this. And and let me give you an example why this is so important, that Adrian will be talking his language. We all just have our language, and you just didn't know about this before, and now you do, that we have our different language depending on what we value, what motivates us. So if somebody comes in and goes, and I'm just giving a brief overview example that, probably isn't applicable, but let's say somebody comes in and says, hey, I want to give my mom, or I want to give my wife this, real nice diamond and whatever. And he goes to lab grown diamonds, okay, just as an example. And so Adrian would be saying like, hey, who cares about it, that you don't want lab grown, here's the knowledge behind this. This is, and you want to be the best in this, and you want to do a big, real diamond, and, for 10 grand or whatever, and you don't want to buy this $1,000 thing. And so, but Adrian wouldn't be talking his language. This person's language was, hey, I want this for my wife. Not necessarily that it's the best, and I don't want to have her know it's lab grown. And so does that kind of make sense? Do you follow that on how that works? Yeah. And so what thoughts do you have about these different ways that we are motivated? Any thoughts, comments about it?
It's right on point.
Okay.
Is this graph comparable to another one?
No, it's a separate. So I really ran 4 assessments in that one. When you sat down and took the assessment, there's actually 4 in there. And so this is standalone on what motivates you. So the way to look at it, and a great question, Diego, way to look at it is, I have my behaviors. And so that's kind of the outside of me, what my behaviors are. And we can look and understand people's behaviors. When we peel back the onion of people, we find their motivators. And the only way I'm going to be able to understand what their motivators are is by asking them questions to hear what they value, not what I value. Okay, again, it's like the guy doesn't care about home, if it's the lab grown, he just wants something nice for his wife, he's high social, whatever. And so that's standalone. The next thing I'm going to show you is the 25 talents of mankind. It's the only diagnostic. I'm telling you, companies that have this are high end. Like I would do this with Fortune 100 companies around the world, and you're getting this valuable information. It'll give you and your people the edge, and that because you'll be able to unfold this. And so with your people, the third one, and we're just going to talk 3. There's another one that won't be, applicable. Oh, before I do that, another page for you to note is page 50. It is the keys to motivating the way you want to be motivated. And for you as managers, you want to sit down with your people and maybe just, one day when the store is slow or whatever, say, hey, let's go through this, and run a hard copy of Keys to Motivating and ask them, hey, how do you like best to be motivated based on this? And what it'll do, it'll help you to really understand, and it'll really connect you with your people because you care about them. You're showing you care about them. You want to know what motivates them. And what they say typically is what they haven't been getting either from you or, in life, whatever. And so, maybe like, let's say, Adrian, that before he came with us, that he was with a poor quality orientated work group. He didn't like that. And so now to motivate him, he wants to be with a quality orientated work group. And we just elevated the whole organization now where, wow, he's so Adrian actually is motivated by that. Hey, we're going to the next level now with the company. And so, and do you agree with that, Adrian?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. And then another page is on how to manage. So page 51. And again, you should review this on your people. Most of your people have taken their assessment. If you're an SLA right now watching this, that you want to review this with your manager and really to be able to help. Hey, we want to most effectively manage you the way you want to be managed, and we want to motivate you. We want you to be successful. And this is a better way, because if you tried, if I tried to write down keys to managing me, I wouldn't come up with these 9 points. I wouldn't know. It'd be that precise. So this will really help you to better understand yourself, connect each other with, the team, really build the team, and then again, be able to use this information that I've shared with you so far in order to get that. And then the last page that we're going to look at is on page 67. So if you go to page 67, that there is, and again, there's all kinds of amazing information, but this is the key information that's going to be easiest for you to look at and be able to do. And that is this page, is this page right here. And on page 66, 67, God darn it, that what this is, these are the 25 talents of mankind, and they're ranked in order of your top talents down to your lowest talents. And everybody has top talents and has low talents. I've had people say, oh, I don't like that I'm, number 25 and whatever it is. It's not a big deal. What you want to do is be aware of what you're not very talented at, but really hone in and leverage what you are talented at. So there are 66 talents of mankind. These are the 20, and this is measured to the 10th of a point accuracy for each of you. And so looking, again, the main thing to look at is what am I most developed at, which is the dark blue ones. And also know that talents, you can't change your behaviors. Your behaviors are your behaviors. What motivates you, okay? You can't change that, but you can improve talents. And this is where, again, as a manager, you would want to help with your people. Hey, what talents would be most important? And you'll know what's most important to the job based on the job benchmark. And again, this gap report that we're going to take the job benchmark with and compare it to each individual to find out, hey, what talents would you want to, further develop? So in Adrian, he's real talented and he's great at teamwork. So it's great that he's a team leader. He's great with the customer. Wow, the customer is what brings us, the money, whatever. He loves continuous learning. So he's like into this stuff that we're doing right now. That he's resilient, okay? He doesn't like saying no. He is talented. He's good at conflict management, whether it be on the team or more so, with the customer or whatever, and planning an organization. He's really good at. And again, then he's good, he's a little bit lighter blue, he's good at interpersonal skills, understanding, evaluating others. And so it's really cool to look at your page now and to see, and again, I want you to focus on the top talents. And when you get your gap report, that'll help you to identify, hey, which talents maybe do I want to improve on? And then we can work together in order to, increase that, because you each have the power to be, do, and have anything you want. And in fact, we're all geniuses, whatever we focus on. So let's say, for example, that customer focus isn't something you're real high on. If you just say, hey, I want to get, better with the customer focus. I want to be a better listener. If you just start saying that to yourself every day, you'll become customer focused and a better listener. Okay. So with that, that's all I had for today. And do you have any comments or questions about that? What did you like best?
Yeah, I mean, I really liked it. On the graph where it shows the aesthetics and the social and all that,
Yeah.
is there like a little like a little what is the UTI stand for again?
Yeah. So what is above there, UTI is utilitarian.
Oh,
And
okay.
if you go up on pages up there, it has the definition of every one of those.
Mm,
And it also talks about who you are with that particular motivation.
mhm,
Now, you'll read some motivations where you go, well, I'm not sure, if that's really me or not me. What you need to understand is this is relative to what are your top motivations and what are your lower ones, okay? So under like, that example I gave, social is low, and there's no good or bad in any of this. It's just we need to understand when you understand what you are, that then you understand, wow, that I need to be aware of. There are these 6 motivators, and if they're talking about helping the people and they want to, do a bunch of stuff, I'm going to talk their language and I'm going to talk about helping the people and how to do that because I'm not going to talk them out of what they want. I have a good example. It's in real estate, but it's a good example that typically, if you're the largest house on the block, you're not going to get as much money for that house per square foot because it is so much larger than the other homes. So the other homes will typically, get paid more. And so a real estate agent, the buyer says, oh, I want that big, huge house up on the top of the hill. And why? Because that person is individualistic. They want to be number one and they want the biggest house on the block. Okay. But but the agent says, oh, no, you don't want that because you're not going to get a good return. They're utilitarian and they want a return on investment. And they're talking a different language. They said, no, you don't want that. The square footage is go. And they'll literally talk the buyer out of buying what they want. Or they'll fire the agent and go buy the house because that's what they want. And it's like, oh my God. Really, guys, when you see this, it works like magic when you're aware of what the 4 behaviors are and how you can now start identifying those. And that's why this 30-minute video is important to see because you'll understand, like, for example, the driver you be efficient with. Okay, so who's a driver? Like Scott is. Right? So you want to be efficient with him. Okay, that an influencer, you want to be stimulating. You want to lift it up a little, not fake it, but you want to recognize, oh, they're an I, so I'm going to be an I with them. And subconsciously, what happens? They open up their shade of communication. With the S, the steady behavior style, you want to be agreeable. So you don't want to say ever, especially to an S, no. It automatically closes. So they say, hey, I really like this. Oh, no, you don't. You really should get, whatever you're trying to sell them, over there. And right when you say no, they're not even aware of it, but they're pulling, we want that shade up. And we say, oh, that's a great idea. And have you seen this over there? And now they say, wow, I really like that. And then the 4th behavior style is the conscientious. And with them, you want to be accurate. So if you do driver, be efficient, influencer, be stimulating, steady, be agreeable, and C, the conscientious, be accurate, it'll open up doors for you that you never realized. You'll get more yeses, if you will. And you'll have more fun. You'll be able to connect better with people. You'll be able to enjoy your job, enjoy the customers. Like if you're thinking all of those damn customers, you're going to get terrible customers because it's in your vibration, okay? That you want to be thinking about, hey, I just love helping my customers and, doing that. And then, Diego, to your question, these values on am I speaking their language or not? Well, you didn't even know before there were 6 languages that we speak. and that we need to be aware of what language they're speaking, because it's about the customer, what language are they, and what they want, we want to be able to speak their language. Got that? Yeah,
Awesome.
good.
Thank
Good.
you.
Yeah. And any other thoughts, comments on this? Okay, sounds great. Stay on here, but I'm going to end the recording. So for those of you watching this, that we thank you very much. Really get into these 4 behaviors, the 6 ways to motivate. Get into your assessment. It'll open up your world, share it with your loved one, share it with, your manager, with your team members, that it'll really help to be able to have deeper, more meaningful relationships. And with that, if you need any help, you know where to go. Go to one of your managers and they'll give you all the answers because they're the best. Okay, love you all. Bye-bye.